Kwanzaa dudes, it's time to talk about Surf Ninjas. It's a movie I've wanted to talk about for a long time on this channel. So, so, I did not grow up with this movie. Nope. Even though it came out around the time that I would be watching movies. Surprisingly, this is not one that I rented, although it probably should have been. It feels like a movie I would have rented. But it wasn't. And it was New Line Cinema, which is, I watched a lot of the movies from then. Back then, you know? But the New Line Cinema was very prominent back in the 90s. That was their heyday. But this passed me by. And then later as an adult, I introduced to this. I got a VHS that I put in and watched and was blown away by how cool this movie was. I say cool. It's not a great movie, but it's there. Yeah, I still have the VHS somewhere, but I've since watched this on YouTube, and but I haven't done a review on it, just simply because I wanted to wait until I got the physical media, because I don't have the DVD. I need to, that and Three Ninjas. Three Ninjas is the one I watch the most. Those two, I need to get the physical media for, because I don't have them. And I love Three Ninjas, man. But like, Rocky loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily. But yeah, this movie follows two brothers, Johnny and Adam. Johnny is about 2 weeks away from becoming 16. Adam is 11. They find out they're actually royalty from a fictional island country called Patusan. Not Portasan, the porta potty toilets. No, Patusan. Yeah. And this evil Emperor Chi, or General Chi, played by Leslie Nielsen, who plays it pretty straight. Although, to be fair, a lot of his comedic roles, he does play straight. His deadpan delivery is what makes his performances good. And like, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. Very deadpan, he's very good at it. Frank Drebin, very deadpan. Spyhard, very deadpan, because he's good at it. You know, I think the one that really left his comfort zone was Mr. Magoo. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in some Disney time, but I don't know about this one. I can't guarantee. I don't even know what I'm doing this year. I want to do Disney sequels, but my mind keeps changing a million times per minute trying to think of what I'm doing this year. So he's the villain. Yes, he has a Chinese name or an Asian name, but he's not Asian. So when the movie starts, I get confused because it feels there's a narration, but it feels like the narration. It sounds like the narration starts in the middle of his sentence. Like there's nothing. We see them surfing, and all of a sudden you hear, "And I was sent to protect them, to make sure they would be safe." And I'm like, was there not a beginning to this story? Did my hearing go out? Was it something with the... I don't know. Yes, we meet them. They know they're adopted. I would hope so, because this guy looks like me with a beard and hair. More hair. Hair. Like, not long hair, but like, I would say, like Dr. Death here. He looks just like Dr. Death here. Like a Steve Williams. Dr. Death Steve Williams here with lighter hair. He looks just like this guy. And this would be me if I had hair and a beard. I mean, jazz. So, yeah. And then we meet their friend Iggy, played by Rob Schneider. I'm like, okay, he's their friend, he's their older friend that hangs out with them, sure, whatever. He's like a guy that lives in their building or something. No, he goes to school with them. So I looked up the ages of Ernie Reyes Jr. and Rob Schneider. Ernie Reyes Jr. was 21, or was going to be 21. Okay, he had already played an adult 2 years prior in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. He played an adult. He was an adult. And when I do, I'll look for something thinner. Yeah, he played Kino. He was an adult. Now he's playing a 16-year-old. That's when I first thought, oh, this must be before. This came out in 93. Ninja Turtles 2 came out in 91. A year after the first one. So, nah, he's older here. He's 21. Rob Schneider was pushing 30. Yeah. And they're supposed to all be the same age. Maybe that's why they dyed his hair orange for some reason. But clearly they saw him do some funny things on Saturday Night Live and went, "You're funny, ad-lib." And then didn't realize they should tell him to stop. There's just some things that makes me question if they were scripted or not. Like, they're in a fight. There's a fight. He's having a fight with these. I do like his introduction because you think it's gonna be an assassin, and the dad's the foster dad's like, "Put the knife down," and he's like, "You don't want chives? I'm gonna put them on." I don't know why, but I like that. Like, you don't want chives? I'm gonna put them. If you don't like chives, I'm gonna put them on there. And then Johnny's like, "I want chives, bruh." Because that's how everyone talked in the 90s. Now, 93, I was 6 years old. So I wasn't talking like that. I wasn't a teenager in the 90s. Maybe they talked like that. I don't know. Not everyone can sound like that skateboard ghost from Puppet Scooby-Doo. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. I still like the chef ghost. Chocolate. Boo. It's cheesy. That show was cheesy as all hell. Just so you know. But anyway, yeah, so they go to school, all three of them, and yeah, they like to surf. By the way, at the beginning of the film, they shot of them surfing. We don't see their feet, and when we do, it's obviously a body double because it's from a distance. Here, they moto surf, which is they're just in a car pretending to surf, including Iggy, who is supposed to be driving. So I'm assuming he is older than Johnny because Johnny hasn't turned 16 yet. You can't drive till you're 16. You can't get your license. So, yeah. So they go to school and Johnny finds out he was supposed to prepare something at this assembly for this guy, the Baba Ram of Indonesia. Baba Ram something. It's a guy, again, it's that guy that's in everything. That I say from Women's World, and he goes, that guy. Excuse me, I have a staff meeting. That guy. And he's here. And he's the Baba Ram. So Johnny forgot to come up with something. So what does he do? Baba Ram. Baba Ram, take my hand. Now it's obviously Ernie Reyes Jr. singing here, but when there's a callback to it later, is not. But yeah, that's what he does, and of course he gets in trouble. But we don't have to worry about it because that's when shit happens. They find out they're being followed by this guy with an eye patch they think is a bad guy, but turns out he's a good guy. His name is Zatch. He's played by Ernie Reyes Sr. That's right, Ernie Reyes Jr.'s dad. And who is also a martial artist and a stunt fighter and coordinator. Yeah, so he is sent there to protect them. Because upon Johnny's 16th birthday, he can become king. So General Chi has sent bad guy ninjas dressed in the actual suit from Street Fighter, which I know Street Fighter came out 2 years later, or the next year actually. It is 95 was Mortal Kombat. Street Fighter came out next year, but it's the same outfits. It's Street Fighter took those suits from Street Ninjas, from Surf Ninjas, and used it in that movie. And they show up and they just fight them, and then so he protects them, and then they ditch him and go back home, where again they're in trouble because their dad gets kidnapped, and then that's when we get the brilliance of Rob Schneider's improv when he's fighting, and he just like, I do dishes for you, and it smashes the guy in the head. Oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, well, you didn't mean to do that. I don't know, but the dad's been kidnapped, so Zatch's plan is to blow up the place. Yes, this is after they went to the cops. Yeah, that's it. They went to the cops. I forgot an important part. So after that, the dad gets kidnapped. Then they go to the cops to tell the cops, and we get Tone Loc, who you've seen in plenty of stuff. He was the big lizard guy in Fern Gully. I'm going. I think he was in. He's in everything. He was in a lot of things in the 90s. But he basically tells them that we're going to find your dad, and you need some place. They know our uncle is here, and it's Iggy. But I'm starting to. I don't know if this was improv or in the script, but they're like, you got to play an uncle character. So he comes out in a wheelchair with a mustache and his clothes, and he's doing a Scottish accent. Don't make me beat you with my foot. My foot not gonna work, cause I will. And I'm just like, what are we doing? It's like, sure, it's not as annoying as him going, the cop man, the coparino, the copster, you know, which was referenced in Mighty Ducks a year before. That's a Disney movie, but still, yeah. So, even though it's obvious that this is not an adult that can take care of him, although he's 30, but the actors, but then he leaves them, and that's when Zatch comes back, and he ends up blowing up the place. So now what do they do? Well, they take him to Little Patusan, because Chinatown doesn't exist in this world, apparently. And that's where we meet Kelly Hughes' character, who is a part of an arranged marriage to Johnny. Okay, here's my issue. Why is it 16? Ernie Reyes Jr. was 21, as I mentioned. So why can't it be 18? Why can't it be 18? It's confusing to me. Like, if he's old enough to be king, I know that the whole thing is that other religions sometimes have the thing where it doesn't matter your age. Like, look at Jungle to Jungle. He was, what, 14? And they say he was a man? You know? So, yeah, now you have the 16 and he can be king. Okay. I know King Tut was technically a kid when he was king, right? He was young. So, yeah, different religions do different things, I guess. But it just, I don't know. It's a lot for a teenager to have all this thrown on him. Although, they do handle it pretty well towards the end, so we'll see. They go to Little Patusan, and they eat Patusani food, and then Rob Schneider improvs again. I had a hard time sleeping. All I can smell is chow mein. Yep. It's not a Chinese restaurant, though, so that line makes no sense. It's a Patusani restaurant. And by the way, they do the thing where Johnny's like, oh, I don't want to do no arranged marriage. As soon as he sees her, he's like, you know? Like, okay. If this was a cartoon, he'd have that weird little perfume thing guiding him with big hearts in his eyes over to her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I watched a lot of TV in my life, so you know. So they decide to have to go to Patusan to defeat General Chi and finish this rebellion that these Patlusani people are doing. Because bad guys show up and attack the place. So okay, that's the last straw. We're gonna go there, and just so happens that the cop followed them, and they knock him out and put him on because he's there to make sure they're not gonna get kidnapped. And then they knock him. Zatch knocks him unconscious, puts him in the hold, and he comes out and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna stop you. I'm gonna join you. I need a vacation anyway." And it always feels like destiny. All right, so there's a couple things I haven't mentioned yet. So there's a running joke with Iggy where he thinks he's the actual royalty, and I'm waiting for this. Like, they keep telling him, "No, it's not you," but he just doesn't believe him. It's all because he has this other running gag where he thinks that because he says, "What if this happens?" and something happens, like, "Oh, what if I'm a secret royalty and assassins are trying to get me," or something like that. And, you know, what if I'm a secret king of an island or something? So he thinks he is the king for some reason. Even at the end, when he's like, "I don't know why they're cheering them. I'm the real king." And the kids are like, "You're not buying this, are you? Or you're not into this, are you?" Something like that. I don't know. But just like, and the other one is that the kid has a Sega Game Gear because the video game was being made specifically for the Game Gear, so they had to put it in his product placement. So he's got it, and it tells Adam the future of what's going to happen. The only time that actually made me laugh was when it showed that there was an assassin was going to land on Zatch, and he's like, "Zatch!" and he's like, and he falls in front of him. By the way, you're supposed to be professional assassins, right? Wouldn't they know that when you try to attack someone, you don't go, "Ah!" while jumping at them? Assassins should be quiet. Not. It's like the whole thing with Tommaso Ciampa. You ever seen the? You know, you're wrestling fans. You see on social media, he's trying to give an RKO to Randy Orton, right? But every time he does it, he yells out, "Out of nowhere!" If you just shut the hell up, you might actually be able to do it. Maybe that's where it's leading to. I don't know. I've commented on a couple of posts, but anyway. So yeah. So that's what's going on. So at one point, bad guys are chasing them, and they realize they need to blow up dynamite. And they're like, "Oh, I don't have any matches or anything." And Zatch pulls out he's like, "Oh, here," and he pulls out a pack of cigarettes. And the cop's like, "Cigarettes?" He goes, "Yeah, I know. I should quit." And then maybe you should try the patch. Look who I'm talking to. Just guess who says that. Rob Schneider. That is though the first time I watched this, the only line that made me laugh. Now, at this point, I just want him to stop with the one-liners. Because it's like, hey, he was funny in SNL. Let's have him do improv one-liners. And it's just like, maybe you could say someone wrote that, but if they did, they should be shot. I don't know. They should be thrown out a window. I don't know. So they've arrived on Patusan, and they kind of get everyone to rebel, right? And so they gotta get to Leslie Nielsen's secret lair. But their only boat that they had was destroyed. So what do? Well, you surf, of course, because they're surf ninjas. And Iggy cannot surf, but and then you get a line from Tom Lowe: "Brothers don't surf." I beg to differ. I've seen other movies where you have African Americans surfing. So, I mean, I know it's not the same. If you know how to skateboard, It's not the same because waves are a little bit worse than concrete doesn't move, waves do. But if you can bounce yourself on a skateboard, you might be able to. You should be able to at least try, attempt to do it. I've never been able to do it with a surfboard. Not anything would hold my weight, but I'm just saying. Anyway, so they surf over there, and then they scale this wall, and then we get a showdown, a fight. I gotta mention though, there is a training exercise that happens that has Zach training with Johnny, and it's a father and son fight between the two, and it's actually pretty cool. I bet they really like that. And then Kelly, who also says that she doesn't want to go through with the arranged marriage, but then he kisses her, and she's like, "We can still date, right?" Then what's the point of your whole speech? Anyway, they go up there, they fight the bad guys, and then it's, Iggy. Where do I go? You went that way. Wait, I'm not going with you? No, we're splitting up. We're fighting now. Oh, okay. Just running around. Surprised he didn't die, to be honest. They wouldn't do that. It's a kid's movie, so, yeah. And we get the showdown. Johnny, who's ripped as hell for a almost 16-year-old. And the reason I say that is because they are portrayed as lazy surfers, right? They're portrayed as lazy surfers, and they got him in this gear, and he's ripped. And I'm just like, that does not fit with the character. Ernie Reyes, sure, yeah, fine, he's ripped. Even when he's older, look at the rundown. The scene with Sean William Scott or The Rock. The Rock fights that Aborigine dude. That's Ernie Reyes Jr. he's fighting, and he's still ripped. But to say this is a lazy surfer, lazy, almost 16-year-old surfer kid, and he's ripped like that just doesn't make any sense to me. I know that you gotta be in a certain shape for surfing, but that still doesn't add up to me. But how do they defeat Leslie Nielsen? By the way, the whole story is that when he took over, his face got stomped on by an elephant. Doesn't explain why the rest of him has metal electronic things. I don't know. But he gets thrown into a little pond and you get electrocuted short out and dies. Only character that dies, by the way. Yeah. So now they're celebrating, and Johnny is going to be anointed king, and he's introduced to the Baba Ram. Like, oh, I know you, Baba Ram. You funny, man. You funny. It's like, that came back. We're not done, but they get there, and again, Iggy's like, I don't know why they're cheering them. I'm the one who's really king, and the kids are just like, they're over this as much as we are, and they haven't had to sit through the entire movie. Yeah. And then Johnny says, my future queen and I, didn't she just say she didn't want to? Are stoked to be here, but I'm going to abolish the hierarchy, or the monarchy, and let everyone, do things themselves. Which, okay, you still need a government. Like, you can't just say, I'm not in charge anymore. You still need a government or something. You can't just have everyone beat to whatever. I mean, he didn't pay attention to school, so I don't know. And then we end with a ba 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 baran, ba 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 baran, take my hand. So it's Johnny, Adam, Iggy, and the Baba Ram guy, but they're lip syncing. They're lip syncing to the song, and yeah, and about partway through the song, they just don't care anymore about lip syncing, because the first verse and the second verse they do, and then at one point it gets to like a musical progression. Oh, dancing now, but it cuts to the guy. The Baba Ram was supposed to say that, and he's just going. It doesn't say anything, and then it starts back up with the lyrics, and they're still not singing to it. They're just dancing now. Everyone's dancing, and everything. And yeah, I gotta give it a pretty good though, because I really like this movie. I told you guys I want to talk about this movie for a long time. It is weird as all hell, and Rob Schneider doesn't help because he's just. I'll tell you what happened. All right. After this movie, Rob Schneider got arrested and thrown in a futuristic dystopian prison by Judge Dredd, which led to his appearance in Bat Movie. After which he was frozen and sent to the future, unthawed, and now works for a future government in a future world where every restaurant is Taco Bell, and Sylvester Stallone also shows up there. That's what happened. It's all the same character. I'm movie dumpstering this thing. The Rob Schneider parts I don't need, but it's fine. It's fine. So let's see what our next movie is. Our next movie film will be Barbara Ann. Come on. By the way, it's Barbara Ann, but when you sing it, it sounds like Barbara Ann. I don't know why. Taxi? Taxi, huh? That's the movie with Jimmy Fallon and Queen Latifah, which is a movie we had in the house, but I never watched. Never had to. I don't know why, but there it is. So, what are your thoughts on Surf Ninjas? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.